You are now tuned.
Now, the whole essence of embracing personal development really is for us to become a truer version of ourselves. It's a whole new meaning to life when we are intentional about improving on ourselves, not just personally, but also spiritually. Hey, I need to let you know that we also focus on spirituality topics on the show. Now, we love to stir the minds of the audience positively with life transforming insights from professionals who have been there and done that on topics related to personal development and self-improvement. Now, this is the mission of Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. We offer disruptive yet constructive mindship conversations that will literally pivot the positive changes you and I need in this side of eternity to live a really fulfilling life as it was originally meant to be. I'm your host, Omobola Stephen. Welcome to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Thank you, Dr. Diana Drake, for coming to the show. Now, I have Dr. Diana Drake, who is the board-certified traditional naturopath. She is the founder of two wellness brands named Dr. Day Wellness and Skin Naturopathics. And also, she is a sought-after coach and mentor within the wellness community. Welcome to the show, Dr.
Thank
Diana
you so
Drake.
much for having me. Thank you.
Thanks for joining on the show. I'm excited about today's topic, and I'm looking forward to a great time indeed, doctor. So how does the person really heal their body naturally?
Okay, first, I love what you said in your introduction, how you are providing information that's disruptive but constructive, because that is what I am all about when I am talking to people about their health. And one of the biggest things that women do that we don't realize is we disrupt our health a lot by actually taking prescription drugs, including birth control, HRT, and other things to try to correct hormone issues, not realizing that we are actually not treating the root cause and kind of just putting a band-aid on a situation and really making it worse long term instead of just properly correcting it in the beginning when we can. And that's really what naturopathy is all about. It's about working with the body as a whole. That includes mind, body, spirit, working on diet, working on lifestyle, working on supplementation, getting, the prescription drugs out, and then really working on whatever is causing the body or the endocrine system, which is what I specialize in, whatever is causing that body to go out of balance in the first place. So in my practice, specializing in the endocrine system, I obviously see a lot of women in menopause. I see a lot of men that have low testosterone. I see a lot of teenagers with really bad skin issues and acne. I see a ton of thyroid people, and they all have this one thing in common, and that is that they are being told by Western medicine to take a drug, and they are not being given the answers to why they're actually experiencing these diseases and this disruption in their body in the first place. So that's kind of where I come in. So I know that was kind of a handful of things that I just covered. So is there somewhere specifically where you kind of want me to jump in on a topic?
Absolutely. I'd like us to talk about the naturopathic approaches to skincare right now. But I have three focus, which is going to be first on food and allergies. I'd like you to talk about the food and allergies and sensitivities. Also, the second one is on digestion and gut health. And the third is on herbs and supplements.
Okay, beautiful. So in relationship to the skin, a lot of people, when they have acne, they just assume that they have some sort of food sensitivity, right? And getting a food sensitivity test is important, and it can be valuable if you have acne. But most people, and if you're listening to this and this is you, you may have experienced that you took a food sensitivity test, you removed your food sensitivities, and you still have acne. So what's going on there, right? Food sensitivities are a very small part of healing the skin. That is only if your acne is only related to the gut, and 90% of the time, there's going to be something else going on besides just inflammatory responses in the gut, right? So the number one reason that people are actually getting bad acne, especially teenagers, is actually caused by something known as insulin resistance that leads to elevated androstenedione. This is a type of androgenic hormone in men and women that actually causes breakouts. So in women, we're calling this PCOS. It stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have cysts on the ovaries, so it is often misdiagnosed by Western medicine. And then in men, we're calling it syndrome X. But this insulin resistance, again, it's leading to the wrong kind of androgens, and those androgens actually increase the sebum production in the follicle, causing more of a breakout. So if you've ever taken a food sensitivity test and those food sensitivities being removed from your diet did not help with your acne, then you need to work with someone that understands metabolic dysfunction so they can actually work on you, work with you on balancing blood sugars in your diet and getting your androgen levels down. Again, food sensitivities are still important, more so if we're talking about eczema and psoriasis, the more eruptive skin conditions. But with acne, I'm seeing a lot more that it's really endocrine dysfunction. So it's more hormonal acne caused by that insulin resistance or blood sugars. And the root cause of that truly is growing up on a diet that was way too high in sugar, processed grains, and processed carbohydrates. So the body has just become, the blood sugars are so off and the pancreas is so off that now it's causing all of these issues. So this includes in women, menstrual irregularities that are just being covered up with birth control instead of managing insulin resistance, infertility, women that can't get pregnant. We've got the acne, really painful periods. A lot of women don't realize that it's not normal for your period to be painful. Yes, you should be aware you're having your period, maybe a little bit of discomfort, but on a scale of 1 to 10, you should not have pain past a 2 or 3 on your period. If you do, you need to get checked for PCOS, and you need to properly get checked by having those androstenedione levels looked at, as well as the insulin resistance. So looking at all this from a supplementation standpoint, once you figure out the root cause of the acne, right? So yes, look at food sensitivities, look at insulin resistance, look at the elevated androstenedione. My brand, Skin Naturopathics, is so niche-y that we can then go in and correct the root causes of these imbalances using supplementation. So my #1 product is called Hormonal Breakouts. And really, this is an excess androgen insulin resistance formula. So this is going to balance blood sugars. It has herbs that are going to support lowering androgen levels. It's really going to work on ovarian health. It's going to help balance out periods. It's going to reduce skin symptoms. And also, the female is going to feel a lot better on her periods. And if you're having abnormal periods, it's going to help normalize those over time, because as the insulin resistance starts to be better managed, you're going to have better period symptoms. You're going to have less of the negative symptoms on your skin. And also detoxification is really important too, to skin issues. So whether it's hormonal or not, we need to detox. We are the only culture where detoxification is not built into our culture. Other countries know to detox every spring and fall. That's not something that we were taught here in America. So I have another great product called Derma Detox that you will run at the beginning of your whatever skin protocol you're working on. That's really going to help open up the elimination channels, the colon, the kidneys, the liver, get new lymphatic fluid under the skin, and really help clean everything out as we're asking the body to kind of reset some of these imbalances that are causing these things that are going on in the first place.
Oh, really? You mentioned on PCOS while you discussing early on. So I want to just talk a bit on PCOS, talking about the polycystic ovary syndrome. Is it a lifestyle disease really? And what causes it? And also, what are the treatments or solutions you think are going to suffice?
Okay, love that question. Supplementation is obviously great, but truly, you guys, if you want to reverse insulin resistance, if you want to fix hormone dysfunction, all of these things, you have got to stop eating processed sugar, processed grains, and a heavy carbohydrate diet. So we have been taught, since the 80s, there was this whole renegade attack on fat, right? You should be eating low fat. Fat is bad. They had all these packaged things coming out, low fat this, and I forget the brands, but what was that one brand? Something Snackwell, like with the low fat stuff, but all of it was just carbohydrates and sugar. So all of these diets actually led to insulin resistance. And I don't know about you, but as a kid, I ate candy every day. I would sneak it. I was constantly eating packaged snacks. If you really want to get a hold of metabolic dysfunction, no sugar, no processed grains. That means no bread, crackers, bagels, pizza, pasta, none of that stuff. Doesn't matter if it's organic or not. These things are contributing to insulin resistance. So you want to get the processed carbs out, the processed sugar out, anything in a package out, desserts, ice cream, all that stuff needs to come out. And you need to focus on a whole food diet that is organic in nature. So if you're eating a fruit, vegetable, bean, or legume, it needs to be raised organically, grown organically. And if you're eating an animal product, and I mean, butter, eggs, meat, it needs to be an animal that was raised eating grass. So a grass-fed or pasture-raised animal that has not been raised with hormones and antibiotics. People might not think this is a big deal, but it is, because part of insulin resistance is that we don't have enough omega-3 fatty acids, which is like the right kind of fatty acid, because we've been eating all the bad stuff, the seed oils, the fried food, the canola oil, all that stuff. So if you take a chicken that has been pasture raised and it's eating grass in its native environment, the meat of that chicken and the eggs of that chicken are naturally going to be higher in omega-3 fatty acids. It's almost like it's healthy, anti-inflammatory chicken meat and eggs. On the other hand, a commercially raised chicken that's been eating genetically modified corn, and I don't know what else they give it, some sort of other green diet that's been sprayed with glyphosate. These chickens are high in the inflammatory oils, the 6 and the 9s. Now we do need the 6 and the 9s, but the problem is that the ratio is so out of balance. So those chickens truly are unhealthy. Their meat is unhealthy. They are insulin resistant. Their eggs aren't good. So we don't want to be ingesting things that are going to contribute more to the insulin resistance, right? So focusing on organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised, cottage cheese, butter. I even do bacon, tons of good fats, avocados. If you have a fish, it needs to be wild caught. We don't want farm raised fish. If you're doing meat, again, the cow should have been eating grass and raised outside. So really bringing back the whole food diet. You're not going to crave the sugars anymore. You're not going to be hungry after you eat. If you actually eat a proper diet that has nutrition in it, that's dense in the first place, you're not going to be hungry 20 minutes later and wanting dessert, wanting to eat more. That's typically actually a side effect of eating a diet that's too high in carbohydrates. Like if you eat a plate of pasta and 20 minutes later, you're like, ooh, I'm ready for dessert. You just ate too much carbs. If you're craving sugar post-meal, you just ate too many carbs. So again, you got to get out the carbs and the sugar and really focus on real organic whole foods.
Thank you, Doctor, for sharing that insight with my audience. Now, one of your brand is about the skin naturopathics. So I'd like us to move to skincare and hygiene for those who are 40 plus and 50 plus. Now, for me, and also for those who are in my space who fall between these ranges, we often realize that when you attain the age of 40, so many changes begin to occur in your body. Now, this is the reality of life. So what are some of the elder tips that you can provide for those women who fall into this category? I'm talking about those who are age 40s and 50s who are struggling in achieving a healthy skincare.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that is so interesting is as women, we are so focused on topical skincare for anti-aging, right? We want to get facials and IPLs and peels and, the expensive vitamin C cream, blah, blah, blah. But really, if you want to have or fight aging, you need to also be treating stuff internally as well, because really what's going on your skin surface is just a reflection of oxidative stress, whether that's coming from the sun. I mean, obviously we are aging, but aging itself is also a reflection of oxidative stress. So having a high antioxidant supplement intake is truly the key to anti-aging. And you will notice a difference on your face and the skin on your body as well. Even things like hyperpigmentation can start to go down if you're supplementing correctly. So something like vitamin C, every time I onboard a new client, they'll say, I already take vitamin C. And the first question I ask is how much? And they usually say 1,000 milligrams. My recommendation for daily vitamin C is closer to 10,000 milligrams a day. So it's a very high dose of an antioxidant, but you will see the difference on your skin. A lot of people don't realize, who are taking collagen for skin, by the way, that collagen sits kind of like bricks in your skin, in the collagen matrix. But if you don't have the vitamin C, or it's not going to suspend properly. So it's like the bricks are sitting there, but you need the mortar or the cement, which is the vitamin C, to really suspend that collagen matrix. So the high dose of vitamin C needs to be taken in conjunction with the collagen. And then silica is an amazing herb that will help collagen absorb as well. You can buy these things separately. We make an all-in-one. It's called BioAge Reverse through Skin Naturopathics. You just get 3 scoops a day. And it is liposomal vitamin C. So you don't need full 10,000 a day. You're just getting 6,000 milligrams a day because it is so concentrated. But that is an incredible product. However, on your own too, you could do vitamin C, collagen, glutathione is an incredible antioxidant, CoQ10. You can buy antioxidant blends. You can buy antioxidant teas. Just get the most antioxidants you possibly can. Resveratrol is great. Grapeseed extract is great. There are so many. And diet-wise, acai, berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, a lot of rich antioxidants. That's also going to help with the aging process as well. And again, detoxification. This truly is for everybody. The more you can detox, clean out your filtration organs, the better your system's going to run to clean out the junk. That's very important for aging, because as we age, our organs internally get older. So we need to do whatever we can to help them stay clean and clear so that they can function for us well into our, late, hopefully 90s and 100s.
Absolutely. Now, doctor, we are women and we have a lot of factors that affect women health. Can we talk a bit on that?
Yes, absolutely. The number one, I should say the top 2 things I, address with women in my practice is, number one, thyroid issues. Every single woman that I take a thyroid test on is absolutely starving for iodine and selenium, and typically coming to me on some sort of drug like levothyroxine. That's the number 1 prescribed drug in the country, is levothyroxine. That should tell you something. We have a problem with thyroids in this country. Okay. Most people are iodine deficient and bromine dominant, which is a toxic chemical that comes in through white flour. It's sprayed with, it's the ingredient in fire retardant chemicals. So it's sprayed on our mattresses, curtains, patio furniture, couches. We're constantly in contact with this chemical all the time, and it's kicking the iodine out of the receptor sites. And as women, our thyroid should be, it's a spongy little gland. It should be about 60% iodine, and instead it's junked up with bromine, the wrong thing. And if we don't have proper iodine, our breast can't detox, which means more problems with breast cancer and tumors and things like that. So the number 1 thing I do in my practice with women is looking at the thyroid. And I don't just grab blood values. I don't just look at TSH, TPO, T3, T4. I'm also going to look at all those elements that I just talked about: bromine, selenium, iodine. I do heavy metal panels to see if there's anything else junked up in the thyroid. So I really look at this from a holistic, organic perspective to make sure that we know everything that's going on, because just taking levothyroxine or whatever it is to balance your TSH, that's not fixing the root cause. So I have some people come to me that say, I've been on this drug for 10 years and I don't feel good. Is it possible to get off? The answer is yes. It's going to take time. Usually those people, that's a 2-year road. The longer you've been on the drug, the harder it is to get the thyroid back, because it atrophies and it stops doing its job. So my piece of advice to women is, as soon as you find out something's going on with your thyroid, instead of getting on a drug, try to heal it naturally. Also, please make sure you're taking iodine supplementation. If you start taking iodine and you don't feel well, that's because the bromine is coming out. The toxic bromine is coming out and it's making you sick. So you just need to help your body to detoxify, and you will get through it. The other thing I deal with is going to be obviously the PCOS, the endocrine stuff, but women with that are coming into menopause. I really want everyone to understand that you do not have to take HRT. You have other options. So we actually make a homeopathic called Menogel. It's a topical hormone gel that actually doesn't have any hormones in it. It has the frequency of hormones because it's homeopathic. This is through drdalewellness.com. And with this, we can give the frequency of progesterone, testosterone, estrogen, pituitary, hypothalamus, adrenal. There's all kinds of beautiful ingredients in here. There's over 80 ingredients frequency-wise in this bottle. And this can help get you through the symptoms that are uncomfortable and associated with menopause. It's not going to get your hormone levels up like it would if you take HRT or, when you're 20, but it will kind of get you through that transition. And we can get native production of hormones out of your adrenals. So even if you've had a hysterectomy, you would still potentially be a good candidate for homeopathic hormone rejuvenation because we are getting native production out of the adrenals. Now, since we are getting production out of the adrenals, that means we have to work on stress, getting rid of caffeine, and really rejuvenating the adrenals because most women are going to have cortisol levels that are high or low or both all over the place, right? So when I test hormones, I'm looking at cortisol throughout the whole day. I don't just take a snapshot of cortisol, one time when you happen to go to the lab. I actually have you do an at-home saliva test. It's the most accurate. We get a ton more values than we do with blood. And then we get that full cortisol map of the day. So again, really looking at it holistically. And again, HRT isn't for everyone and neither is homeopathy, but at least I want people to understand that they do have choices besides HRT.
And now, doctor, talking about mental health, men really they experience anxiety, depression, and somatic complaints. But really, research found out that women are more likely than men to experience these symptoms. How valid do you think is this assertion, and how can we begin to, change the narratives?
I'm not sure who would be more susceptible if it would be men or women, because women, we have such sensitive, fluctuation in hormones. So that could be a piece, but truly depression and anxiety really does come from gut health. It really does. People don't realize that we manufacture most neurotransmitters in the gut, and the now proven, gut-brain axis, that's a real thing. So if you don't have a healthy gut, your brain's not going to be healthy. I would say in my practice, I've seen it about 50-50. I wouldn't say, men are more than women or vice versa. But I will tell you, if you are experiencing anxiety, depression, you got to get off caffeine. Number one, you have to heal the gut, stop putting chemicals in there, stop putting sugars, stop putting processed food, pesticides, you want organic food in there. You could do things like colonics. Supplementation is very important. Good probiotics, enzymes, and then some sort of formula to heal the gut is good. And by heal the gut, I mean really work on the gut lining that might be fragile or compromised, potentially leaking. Both Skin Naturopathics and Dr. Dale Wellness, it's the same product, just branded both ways, but we call it Biome Skin for Skin Naturopathics and Microbiome Terrain Pro on Dr. Dale Wellness. And it's a 3-in-1. So we use a spore forming probiotic. Are you familiar with a spore forming probiotic? Are you familiar with a spore forming probiotic?
Absolutely.
Yes. So we use a spore forming probiotic. So it has a protective endosphere that protects the microorganism. And in that regard, it really arrives alive to the gut. This is just like the better strand to use. This is not something you're going to find in the grocery store, even the natural store. There are only a few companies that are actually working with this quality of a probiotic. We also have an enzyme blend. And then we have like zinc, L-glutamate, we have marshmallow, mushrooms in there. So it's a really good gut formula. But another thing that's great is amino acids. Even if you're eating a high protein diet, taking amino acids is really helpful for depression and anxiety. That's one of my favorite things, is working on depression and anxiety, actually, because it's really life-changing for people. And they, a lot of people come to me and they're on a lot of head meds, we call it. So it's nice to be able to transition them out of that and get them feeling good again.
And now, between physical health and spiritual health, which do you think is the most important?
They are equally important. You can't have one without the other, I don't think. But a lot
Why
of
did you say that?
yeah, a lot of times, there are situations where you can only get a client so healthy, and then there's a line that you just can't cross with supplementation. And that is because we bury emotional things in our body, because our subconscious is constantly rerunning traumatic things that have happened and making decisions for us that we're not even aware of. So sometimes a healing block is tied to something emotional and needs to be addressed. And you just simply cannot do this physically. It has to be done emotionally, and typically with the help of someone that, knows what they're doing and has some sort of emotional healing abilities. But yeah, if you are not fully emotionally well, if you have buried traumas that have not been addressed, if there are unhealthy things in your subconscious, obviously not of your fault, but from traumas and things like that, those things need to be addressed. Otherwise, your body holds on to things and won't fully heal. It's very interesting.
So really, what you're inferring is that both are very important for us to focus on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because
All right, now, Doctor.
let's say you're emotionally well, like you feel great, but physically you're eating, a bad diet or something's ailing, you know what I mean? You have to have both need to be in balance, I think, to really be well.
Doctor, do you have any important projects in the pipeline or any exciting news you think the audience are going to benefit from during this show? This is the right time for you to share that if there's any.
I don't know about important announcements, but I would love to let people know that if anyone was moved by anything that I've said, or you would like to work with me, I do offer a complimentary 15-minute phone consultation, which you can book at dmdnaturalmedicine.com. Products are available for purchase at drdalewellness.com. That's DRDALE wellness.com, or skinnaturopathics.com. I am part of a collective that's launching a book called The Grass is Green Where I Am. And that's going to be a group of natural practitioners that kind of talk about their specialties and their healing and how they've impacted people in the world. And other than that, I think that is it for announcements. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you once again, Dr. Diana Drake. You are a board certified and traditional naturopath, and you also a sought after coach and mentor within the wellness community. We sincerely had a great time talking about healing our body naturally and also focusing on skincare, how to do it right. I know this topic is very extensive, and I hope some other time we have another time to talk on this important topic, especially for the women folks. Doctor?
Thank you.
Thank you once again. This is Live Leach by Omobola Stephen. If you'd like to catch up with any missed episodes of the show, you can do so on any cross-promotion platforms or any podcast distribution platforms online, and do have a great time as you listen to expert and professionals share profound insight on topics and subjects that are related to personal development and self-improvement. Now, I always need you to stay safe. I will talk to you soon. Thank you once again, Doctor. That was a great show we had.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe and leave us a review.